Hello everybody, I'm back. On my last video, which I was just about to get into wrapping, you know, what I call edge wrapping, I guess you could call it, beadwork. I made these examples right here. They're just little tiny examples. It's not like real beadwork, just to kind of give you, to show you how, you know, I do beadwork, how I edge my beadwork. I created this little tiny strips of beads right here just to kind of show you what it would look like as you're beading and finishing your piece. So I guess just to start to show you how you would begin to do wrapping, one thing that you can do is to hide your thread on the inside. And I start just right here. So when you're starting, and then voila, your little thing is finished. And I showed on the last video, kind of briefly, how you, okay, I guess I can't talk and put beads on my needle at the same time. Oh, I showed on the last video how you would, you know, finish it off like in between. You finish off your beadwork so that you can kind of hide your thread. So measuring a bit right here, so because you need to give space to your beads. And then you're gonna come around to the back, measure it off a little bit. And the trick to this beadwork and edging is coming back through at an angle. Now, if you can look very closely, you can see my needle is at an angle this way. It's not straight. It's at kind of an angle because you want to give your beads room for each other. We all need room for each other. So, and that one, if you can see, I did kind of go a little bit too far, but that's okay. I mean, I'm just using this as an example. You don't want to go too far. You don't want to go too close because then your stuff will bunch. And so it's all about balance. I mean, as such is life, all about balancing. So I put on 8 beads, and you know, some beads can be different sizes. And so you just kind of want to briefly measure with do a quick assessment if that's going to work. Try to make sure that your line is fairly even on the back. Come back through at an angle because you're going to want to come up close underneath these beads right here. And that helps it really give it like a nice clean look, because it'll be right up against your beads right here. You don't want to be too up against it because you might make them buckle, but I mean, you know, it's all about just kind of noticing what's going on, just paying attention, and, you know, really just focusing on having everything balanced, you know? Okay, here we go. So, one more. And so I'm bringing them down, wrapping it around, doing a quick measure, placing my needle where it needs to go, and then coming back through at a really slight angle. This is a little bit more than I wanted it to be, but, and what you'll notice, I mean, depending on how much space you give yourself right here on the edge, I mean, you can use less beads and just go straight through. I like to kind of use a little bit longer beads because it helps, you know, finish off the edge, and then it's easier to kind of pull them tight, and then it seems like when you're pulling it tight, that will help make the line on the back a little bit cleaner as well, if that makes any sense. But as you can see, I'm kind of getting off track right here, so I got to be aware of that, because if you don't have this, you know, cut all the same length, it will affect the back of your beads too. So there's so many variations that you have to take into consideration while you're beading. And you know, that's the big thing about beadwork, is you just kind of have to go with the flow, see what the beads are doing, and you know, just be very detail oriented in how, you know, everything's being laid down. So here we go. Wrap it around one more time. And then let's say this is the last, let's say I'm done with my row and I want to finish this off. I'll show you again. I just come right back through, even so far as 2 rows away, pull my needle back through, and I like to hide my knots. So I just come through at an angle, again, not towards the front so much, but kind of just along the back. And then you can create a loop. That will create a loop right here. You can see the loop. There's the loop. You're gonna bring your needle back through twice if you want. 1 will do it, but twice is good too, just for extra measure. And you pull it, and then your knot just disappears in between the beads. Yay! And then if you really want to be a stickler and make sure everything's nice and tight, you can just light it and then take something nice and sharp and little and poke it through there and close it through, and disappearing knots. Yay! So I really hope that this video was nice and clear and helpful, and please like and subscribe. I really appreciate your guys' positive comments and feedback, and I will do my best to try to continue to bring you tips and tricks of mine. Like I said before, there is no one right way. There are only many ways, and we all have learned from different teachers. And the best thing you can do is just find the way that you're most comfortable with. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in. So why don't you have a good day? Thank you. Bye-bye.